Wow. Um, I hear my perps. The perps around me are obviously contracted by the government, and a lot of them sound like children. Others sound like trash. Others sound like people who just make themselves damn near retarded. Either ways, they're obviously doing things that are just humiliating to themselves. Now, with that being said, I'm very much aware that they torture people, and me saying that it's not gonna make my case any better. But the truth is, I'd rather say what needs to be said than let them live this escapism. I'll go to my torture knowing that it'll be a painful, horrible experience and then die. Then even let them escape. I was showering before. So I'm a target individual, and I'm a target individual who deal with like V2K and synthetic telepathy, so they can interact with me via V2K, right? And they like to see the things that's gonna like to either disturb me or create fear. I'm in the shower and I hear somebody just whisper, "You're gonna die on it. It's gonna hurt." And they've been telling me the different horrible torture I'm gonna experience, which sounds scary, terrifying, and painful. But there's something in me that just gives me strength. Matter of fact, when I hear them, I just hear the children talking to me who can just like just disappear. They are not these powerful beings that they try to sound like. Or even the mystique of how they try to sound, they sound like a child who's told sound menacing. Try to sound like a witchy, mean, diabolical person. And they're like, okay, you're gonna suffer, you're gonna die of this. And that's how they try to talk to me. And I'm like, this sounds like a child next door talking to me. The child around here just like try to sound meaningful. Now, with that being said, I know the torture I'm gonna experience are gonna be horrible. But these are people who are torturing children in so many horrible ways. But in fact, they tell me how I'm gonna asp. And the reason why they say that because they talk about something sexual, right? They're gonna torture me in a sexual way, right? They don't want to say gasp as much because gasping is what somebody who've described what they seen a child that was 7 years old with autism gasping for air, because what they can do is restrict your lungs. They can make it hard for you to breathe. They can completely stop you from breathing. And this child that was 7 years old was gasping for air because her lungs were not able to capture the air. And so this is the kind of things they do, right? But you lose that fierceness that you try to utilize when you bring up the fact that this is torture that you've applied to a child. And so when they try to be like this, mean, it's gonna be our, when they try to sound like this, like fierce group of people who are like avenging and protecting children and bringing up torture they've applied to our children, it doesn't look good. So this person tells me I'm gonna die, and they say there's horrible ways I'm gonna die, which is horrible. But truly, with the knowledge that the pain I'm gonna experience is a pain that I can never even describe because I never experienced something like that, I know that if some group of people came and was like, hey, it's time, let's go to that, you're gonna get tortured in these ways. For the sole purpose, because these people wanted to escape in this fantasy, thinking that if they compensate by the horrible torture I experience, that it's gonna be a theater of torture. That is gonna block out the reality of what they're part of. The reality of what these people are part of is disturbing. They torture all kind of people. Now, the governmental entities running this program also have problem that they are trying to project onto me. Before I made this video, yesterday they were doing this thing where there was a documentary about something happening in the DR, and it's so sad actually. And they're trying to mess with me because I tried to kind of listen to the video without watching it because it's about kids and whatnot. And for a second there, I saw somebody like portion of a foot. And they gave me stimulation that makes no sense. They now try to make me imagine a foot with like, try to give me stimulations on this. And This is the kind of things they kind of try to push you into insanity with. This just makes no sense. And most likely is because maybe this person walking was a child or something like that. But a portion of food is hard to tell. And so, and so they gave me this stimulation that obviously, no, I'll never experience this thing. Right? They tried to make me think of a woman or something. I was like, of course I know it's falsified. And matter of fact, it was not even, it was so fast too, that I'm like, now they kind of make me experience and imagine somebody's food a different way. Giving me like, putting her like nail polish that I don't, none of that was seen. You just have all of that, creating this. Then give me stimulation, then make me think, oh, I remember you saw this girl's foot back, that you thought that she had nice feet or something. So this is the things they do. And they can create stimulations, and for me it's been the nasty things they make me experience. They make me experience these stimulations. Disgusting. The psychological torture can push people to lose their mind. Let's remember that people ended up doing mass shooting. That means that, I heard that, it's funny because there's a lot of fake target individuals, of course. People can try to pretend they target individuals so they can be involved in some target individual life. That's what they like to do. Now, I'm not the one to know who's who, but it's easy. If you wanted to be involved in somebody's life and you present yourself as a target individual, you can easily infiltrate that person's life. Target individual, we're not special like agents or anything. We're regular people. So anybody who are perps can involve themselves in your life. And I heard this testimony of this woman who said that, when she sees this TI, sometimes she notice like they're overreacting. Now, for me, I'm like, what is overreacting when you're experiencing this nasty manipulation? I think overreacting is maybe a strong word, because overacting is a strong word, because we just experienced somebody who just ended up killing 18 people. So you understand that it's foul. So for me, when they try to mess with me, like, oh, you see, overact, look how emotional it is. It's like, can you imagine when you get forced to get stimulation to our foot? That is not that is manipulated to look differently, so they can create some things to try to make me think that this is a food that's putting nail polish in my head. Do you understand how insane it is? And then have trash try to make you accept this manipulation. But there are people who don't have no self-respect, because it's obvious they manipulate us. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Oh, in my head, they're just doing something. And they're giving me stimulation on top of that, strong stimulation. You can't do nothing about it, but this is the things they do. But with that being said, to hear this person talking to me in this way and tell me this horrible death, it's just like, I'm like, you're just so pathetic. Do you hear yourself? I understand. Even the horrible things you tell me is not countering the fact that I'm recognizing who's talking to me as just a nothing that works for pedophiles. You're involved in a program that tortures children. I don't have to hope for anything bad to happen to you. It will happen to you. I was hearing these people in the hallways tell me all our pain. It's like, because this mass shooting last few weeks ago, and just more and more stuff coming up showing how nasty these people are and how disturbing they are. They've been trying to find ways to counter that. Reality is going to come to them one way or another. For me, I'm just saying the obvious things, which makes me sound like prophets to them, because it's just so obvious. What do you think when you do these kind of things? You think you're making your life any better? Like, if such thing as like karma or the universe, do you think you are driving good karma on your side? Like, do you think that this is bringing you good energy? Right? Now, I'm not saying I believe this and that, but it's just kind of like if things start not working out for you in certain ways or things happen to you, would you be like shocked when you involve yourself in these things? And you're a coward. You don't sound like you're nothing. I understand that you're just a trash. Who else could find, like, who else would feel comfortable to dumb themselves down to that level? To try to gaslight somebody, to make that person believe that this is not being manipulated, but it's just organically. Nobody want to live the life that these people live. There is no noise campaign that's going to change that. There's no opening the door and slamming the door that's going to change that. It is just pure child-minded ways of thinking. And that's why they contract these people. And they like to tell, their tonality to them in their mind is like, they think their tonality is a way to, like the way they sound, apparently, is a validation. Oh, it won't. Of course it will. Everything that you experience show that it will. You are here trying to make noise campaign to make me go lose my mind of this manipulation that's damn near retarded. That you then try to make me think of somebody's food and then try to, but remember when you were with this girl, you kind of looked at her, you thought you liked her food, you think, so do you remember when you saw the half of the food? That's kind of like that. It's like, no, what? You just try to you're making me imagine a food that I barely saw. Then give me forced stimulation, which I will never have. And then because you make no campaign, I'm supposed to be subscriptive to this. You understand how delusional these people are? Those are the people who are telling you that what they're doing to you will not come back to them. What they're involved in will not come back to them. And when I mean coming back to them, I understand these people are working for the government. So I'm not saying like that somebody's going to come and sue them like that. No. I'm talking about this kind of nasty life that these people live will show up in one way or another and reimburse them the way it needs to be. They just have to counter even a mass shooting that happened 2 weeks ago, which this man ended up killing 18 people because trash like them, in the same program they're in, pushed this man to kill. Ended up killing a bunch of people, including a child, by the way. The entities running this program are filled with pedophiles and are here forcing me to get stimulation on a portion of a foot or something like that, and making me imagine it in different ways and give me stimulations and things, and keep changing it. When they know that I know the government is running this program, these governmental entities, intelligence community related. These agencies filled with pedophiles. Me, I'm being forced to get stimulated on an imaginated half of a foot. And then try to be like, now we mapped it. The way I'm looking at this is, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you. I could have been living life doing that. You heard the noise campaign. I could have been living life like this. Now, I'm not happy to be in the situation I'm in. I don't want to be screaming in pain and torture. And they're like, you're going to die on the hook. It's like, I'd rather die on the hook. Can you imagine if I live my life, live a long life, and I involve myself in these things in this way? I would be terrified. I would be terrified. I don't want to trade places. Of course, I don't want to be dying in a hook or dying whatever. I understand this is part of the theater. Because the reality of people who are involved in a program where they even torture children, they don't even want to say gasp. Because gasping is what they've done to a 7-year-old autistic child. They're pushing people to kill because they do this pedophilia type of torture. And their validation is this manipulation and force way they make me react to a half of a foot or something like that. To try to get stimulations in different ways in my brain. It's just nonsensicalness. And playing my genitals. And then these are the same people who literally have to discount, detach themselves from reality to gaslight me, to accept these manipulations, telling you, oh, it won't. It's like, listen to your day in and day out life consists of this regarding reality. That's your job. Literally, their job is to do that. They do this knowingly as a job. They call it being at war. You, who live this life, then come back, who literally have to live the current life as you're living right now, as your dedicated life, to disregard reality for the purpose of gaslighting me, to make me believe that this is natural happening, that this makes sense, that this is not like as obvious as it is, but because you want to gaslight me into accepting this and make me just literally even calling themselves, they're daring to do that when they're doing that hiding somewhere remotely in the most cowardly possible. These people tell me that it won't come back to them. Of course it will. And it won't take much. When you see this purpose, you're just like, it's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. You see like nothing. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to. You're just such a nothing. Now, I know who I'm really hoping that this thing comes back. And it's not there. These people are just, I can die on every hook. But I understand life is going to come to you the way it needs to come to you. And it'll be very easy. I can even imagine them laying in a hospital bed as they're making me sick and die and was in pain. I can just see them having some kind of condition and disease. Just like, it's just so easy. Some child, like individuals involved in here, was gasping for air, breathing super hard. I don't know if she walked like 2-3 stairs. I'd rather die in a hook, screaming in pain. There's no torture that's going to erase reality. There's no pain I'm going to experience that's going to block out reality. You'll see me scream and cry. I don't want that. But I don't want to trade you. I'd rather scream and cry than be in your shoes. It's scary to me. It's terrifying. They even use childlike individual people that make it more obvious that these things come back to you. Now they ask, oh, we're going to frame you. We dare to frame you. I was like, yeah. I had that good energy toward you. I'm sure you had a great year. I'm sure you're living happily. You tell me that every day, like at 5 in the morning. This is one person told me, like, I'm so happy. She was telling me like at 4 in the morning. I was like, oh yeah, you said it. I guess you're happy. Like, no, you're trash. And it's not you I'll pray for anything to come back to you. It's the people in charge of this. You're just nothing. They empowered you and now you feel special. Now you're whispering. It's like, you're gonna die in this way. You're gonna die. This is what I deal with 24/7. I say what I need to say because there will be a day I will not speak. When you hear me talk about what's happening to me, it's to just give you a depiction of what I go through. What I go through is not unique to me. We target individuals have to deal with perps. These perps are contracted to really push you to insanity as we are manipulated in so many ways. Some of the target individuals ended up killing. Some of them killed in mass. 18 people died. 18. 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago. 18 people died, including a child. A lot of them were parents. Kids will never see their parents, their father. Well, these cowards that you've seen are the weakest, bottom feeder you can imagine. Childlike individuals who some of them have asthma, other conditions, have who are telling you how they're gonna frame you and all that, and then they'll die living this nasty life. And we are target individual are just human subjects. And these perps, as bottom feeders as they are, feel the empowerment that these governmental entities, which of course involves the intelligence community of this country, have empowered them to experience, giving them the ability to implement these tactics onto us, which empowers them, this weak low life, who's like torture, but if she looked at me, she can run. Me calling her trash in front of her could be the torture for her. And we are tortured. Some of us just remotely, some of us other ways, and they're tortured children too. then they'll die. This is our honorable death. This is a dignified death. It's painful. I don't want to die this way. But there's a worse way to die. And the worst way to die is what these people are going to die. Having to have lived this life as able human beings who live day in and day out to disregard reality, to the point that they're making me feel like I'm a prophet because I'm saying the most obvious thing you can imagine. To all my target individuals, stay strong.